Yo, what's up, everybody? It is time for Triple D. It is Thursday, August 6th, and that means we are reviewing AEW Dynamite from Wednesday, August 5th, here on Triple D Wrestling Entertainment. How you doing today, Dean?
All gravy, my brother. All gravy. How you feeling? I know you're in the
Oh,
new
man.
house.
The new house is good. It's been a tough week. A lot of stuff going on, but it will prevail, and it's a good setup. I like it. We're here in the new studio. You can't really tell it's different, but it is different for sure. It's
You
different.
can, like you say, you got a lot more stuff in the background. It looks busier. A
Yeah,
universal title, though. Ooh.
yeah, I like it, man. I like it. I got the whole setup here. I did a really cool show the other night there on somebody's live pod, so it was fun. But yeah, hey, we are here to talk about the weekly offering from All Elite Wrestling, and what an offering it was, my friend. What an
Yeah, I
offering it
really
was.
liked it. And last week, I thought the crowd were a bit quiet, Impact, but it felt like there were loads of people there. I don't think the crowd were really loud this
Yeah,
week. It felt like it
yep.
had a
No,
really good atmosphere, which I really enjoyed because we sometimes forget that the massive crowd there, but this sort of felt like quite a big crowd because whoever was there were making a hell of a lot of noise. So I enjoyed that.
yeah, exactly. Hey, what's up, John? John Howell, been waiting for this all day. What's up? That's
John,
right. What's
me
up,
too,
John?
mate. Me too.
And Olivia, how's it going? Hello, hello.
Olivia,
This is it. Here
yes.
we go. Here we go. Blue, awesome show. Good stuff. Good stuff, guys. So we're here. Like I said, we kicked off the show in a big way here. They had the 12-man tag, the Elite and FTR taking on the Dark Order. Man, they had some pretty good spots in this match. I thought Five was being really impressive in this one. That standing D'Lo frog splash was really cool. I thought that was pretty neat how he could pull that off. Really fluid tag moves all throughout here. I thought there was a lot going on, but at the same time, it was easy to digest. They had a lot happening in the ring here. Nick Jackson with some amazing dives here. What was it here? Harwood's knee is injured and he's brought back to this by Wheeler and Page. Omega and Bucks are left to face alone, and even Tony bringing it up on the announcement here, like, couldn't Cash have gone to the back with Dax by himself? Like, why is Page gone too? Because he kind of just left his team there. So that a whole lot of stuff. Brody Lee, man, looking strong as fuck here, calling the shots for his team. Manhandles Omega into the apron, man. Just absolutely dominating here. I think that there was a really good back and forth going on. I thought it was interesting how they still kept this campaign for Hangman going, where Hangman came back into the match later on. Brody Lee didn't attack him when he had the chance. I thought that was kind of, at first I was like, isn't this a chance for, couldn't Brody Lee do something right now? And I'm like, wait, maybe he's choosing not to, and that's what's going on. And Cabana with that brutal top rope fireman's carry, Chicago skyline they call it, I guess. The first time I've seen it that I've been aware of it. Wow, that's a drop. That's a brutal drop. We saw again the Dark Order with that super cool 450 cannonball spot again. I had a lot of fun with this one, man. Honestly, it was a really good way to open the show. What'd you think about it, Dean?
Yeah, I liked how it immediately opened the show, didn't it? Like, as soon as the show started, we are getting straight into this action. And at first, for the first couple of minutes, I thought, is it too busy? Like, I was worried about the 5-on-5 last week. But there were lots of good storytelling within the match and within the teams. Like you say, the Hangman thing, like, Hangman definitely siding with FTR. Like, they did three of them did a submission at once, didn't they, and such. And, like, yeah, he
Yeah,
went to the back. So, but I did like when he came back, he cleaned house then, didn't he? I did like that. Hangman looked like a beast because, like, when they were in the ring, Brody's in the corner. He tosses the member of the dark. Well, it's 9. What it? It's hard to keep up with numbers nowadays, But like I said, so I really enjoyed this match. So a lot's going on. Lots going on. It wasn't so busy like once it developed because of the storyline. Like you say, them three going to the back made it a bit easier to digest then, and it because the Dark Order had the advantage, and obviously Dark Order got the win. But even though it was uneven, it was a good win for Dark Order. I think it were like they needed something like this, like the Elite and FTR, like people that consider some of the top of the card. This was a
yeah,
really good win for Dark Order. Like you say,
very
Brody
much.
Lee looked great. How great did they look on the stage at the end with all of them? I think it looked really. They've needed something like this, and like it's.
Yeah,
But at the beginning, it introduced them as like the Dark Order and Colt Cabana. Like he's not fully initiated or a member yet, which I thought were quite interesting.
yeah.
So yeah, there were, like I say, a lot to digest, but lots of stories progressed from this, and lots of way to go. Multiple feuds spinning. So again, yeah, I thought fantastic opening to the show. I thought to say,
Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely. I love that how when at Page at the end there he misses that buckshot. Brody Lee absolutely cleaned him out with that discus
yeah,
lariat. Like, good God. Like, wow, that was a spot. There were a couple of spots here. I think the next one we're going to talk about, the next big, huge, what the fuck was that moment, happens in the debate. But there's some moments here during this week's Dynamite that were just like, this is really physical, man. Like, brutally physical. But yeah, excellent match by all of them. And like you said, there's a whole story being told in the Dark Order in itself, and then with the Elite in itself. So I think this complemented itself very well for sure.
Yeah, and everyone were more over for it. We're like, yeah, really good. If you got 12 people in the ring, they handled it really well.
Yeah, well, that was it. And then, of course, we go back to earlier today. We see the best friends getting out of Trent's mom, her van there. I love that whole van thing. That's so good to me. And it's Trent's mom, and they love it how they bring it back, and it's like, okay, cool, they're showing up, but they have to park it away from the action, right? Because very important that mom keeps the van, that they keep mom's van safe. They showcase the title match later on. Moxley defending against Darby Allin. Moxley cuts a promo, essentially saying, he's not underestimating Darby, but he knows that this is not going to end the way Darby wants it to. And I think Mox is just a great champion here, Mox with the great words. And you can already tell that he's already reserved in the fact that he's like, yeah, kid, like it's already a good effort on your part, but we know where this is going,
I liked this little promo because it really put Darby over. And he even mentioned that Darby was his favourite. I think Moxley's doing some great promo work, like better than I've ever seen him. Let's say so. Even in these couple of minutes, he can really get across that he's a badass champion while putting his opponent over. Fantastic, yeah.
No, absolutely, man. He's making himself look stronger, and this is exactly. I put it later in the match. You'll hear me say it again and again. This is the kind of shit that we need. This is what Cody has been going for with his whole I'm defending my title against people and making stars. Is Moxley is absolutely that caliber star. He's a world champion all over the place. He's a champion all over in Japan, everywhere he goes. Well, not world champion, but U.S. champion. He's got titles everywhere. He's got this prestige. He's got this backing up for a long time, right? Whereas, so when he beats somebody, when he puts over a young guy, it is putting them over. It's giving them that rub, that definite rub, and I think that's so great. So I can't wait. This match again. This was a really special episode of Dynamite. I thought it was just awesome. Now, this was where I got kind of a little bit conflicted with the show. Santana Ortiz versus the Best Friends. Obviously now, in hindsight, this did pan out. But my opening thoughts when I saw them coming out was two teams with more than enough experience to make this a classic. This could be a very, very awesome tag team match. And then I sort of, as it went on, I changed my feelings on it, and I sort of thought like, okay, now they kind of feel like this is two really good teams that are just kind of lost in the shuffle of AEW. That this is kind of like, and then I started saying that this is kind of just, it's bland, that I just not like, it's just not clicking with me. The match is like a plain hamburger or a cheese pizza. It's sustainable, but I'm just not into it, right? And of course, this match would end up on a roll-up pin. Why did we have this instead of something like Pillman Jr. or Abaddon, somebody new who needs establishing? This was the equivalent of a filler match to me. I might as well have gone out for a cigarette. I really wasn't having a lot of fun with the match itself. And I think in my defense, there wasn't like, it was a great wrestling match. It was a good match. It was well done, but I was sort of wondering what they were doing with it. And of course, that would be unfolding later on. What did you think of the match itself?
I thought the match itself was good. I enjoyed. They were good. They're both good teams out there, like with a lot of experience, like you say. So I enjoyed the work from them. But personally, I aren't as invested as AEW want me to be in the Best Friends. And I think Santana and Ortiz needed a win more, and I wanted them to win more. So I were a bit, like you say, obviously with the Trent's van and like it filling out like they're going to have a match down the line. But at the time, while watching it, I was disappointed for Santana and Ortiz because they're like losers effectively at the moment. Like Best Friends are who they're sort of invested in more. But me personally, I'm more invested in Santana and Ortiz and want to see them go on a win because I don't think it would have taken. Like I said, Best Friends have had a tag title match. They've been pushed. They've been number one contenders. So it wouldn't have took anything away from them to lose this match. Where I feel like it does take a lot away from Santana and Ortiz to lose this match. So, absolutely. And also when we talk about what happened later, like I'm smashing Trent's mum's van up. Well, it's like if, well, you know, but it's like obviously it's sort of relevant though because it's like, but that's the heel smashing the face's van up that's been pushed. So. Surely that's the match that the Best Friends should win. So can Santana and Ortiz lose again? And then really, what does that do for him if they're to lose again after doing that? So
Yeah.
Maybe it would have been better to reverse it round. You could still protect best friends by having them get the roll up, because roll ups sort of the design to sort of protect. But I thought this felt a bit flatter. It was even more lame. But I feel like Trent's the one that they're pushing, and Trent's going to go and be a single star in not too far in the future. I think I don't know. It feels more like they're pushing Trent to me. But yeah, so I just felt a bit bad for Santana and Ortiz, because I think they're so much better than this. But I suppose they're that good that they could turn it round. All it takes is a bit of clever booking and a nice run for them to be, really dominant. Right. And maybe they don't want to build them up too much because of all, like with the Elite and the Bucks and FTR and Hangman and Adam Page, there's a bit maybe too many dominant teams that have all got a story to tell between themselves. So maybe that's why. But yeah, well, like I say, I just felt a bit sorry for Santana and Ortiz, because personally I'm more invested in them as a unit.
I find that these are two tag teams that are very good complementary teams. Like you mentioned, other big tag teams. It's such a stacked tag team division, and those tag teams need opponents. And I think that's what Santana and Ortiz have sort of become, and the best friends especially. Look at their careers, right? Beretta, Trent, and holy shit, I'm just so bad with names right now. But yes, yeah, exactly. Chuck. Sorry, yeah, Chuck. So when you look at these guys, they're great tag teams. They're sound wrestlers. But I think this is just one of those opportunities where you see two of these B teams facing off against each other, and it just sort of didn't click with me. I don't know. I mean,
that's why you said they're B teams. I don't think Santana and Ortiz anyone should be calling them a B team.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Show me
they should be champions eventually, I think so. I mean, like you say, I don't know. Maybe there's too many tag teams around the belts, like you say, and they just need to fill that B-roll for a bit.
I think they just need to I agree. Santana Ortiz, very good. Pride, Prejudice, or what is it? Pride and Powerful, right?
Powerful.
Pride and Prejudice.
Pride and Prejudice.
I think they're great, but they need to be used stronger then, right? Give them some more dominant wins here. Give them some more things here. Because like I said, we talked about how the Inner Circle is becoming more of a comedy act for a long time there. Let's get them some more gold, right? It doesn't have to be the AEW title anymore. Let's get them the tag team titles, right? And that's who else is going to do it. So
yeah, I want every belt to go through the Inner Circle at some point.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely, it should. Hager would be a great TNT champion right now, even.
Oh, Sammy, yeah.
But we'll get into it. We'll get into it later with all that. MJF brought us to his campaign headquarters. I thought that was pretty cool. Man, that guy Lee has got the most indie pro wrestling hair ever. You're just waiting for this kid to take a bump. As soon as he's got the poster out of order, it was like I expected him to take a bump from somehow, but didn't happen. It looks like the title match is on for All Out, so that's awesome. And I love how he brings up the fact that he's like, what if Darby Allin wins? Oh, yeah, some 125-pound emo kid? Sure. Really
I liked that line as well.
It was so good. MJF is he touches something. And, he's the Midas of promos. He's Rumpelstiltskin. He just spins it into gold. He's everything that should be with a talker, I think.
Yeah, there's some nice little bits in this. Like that when Lee he was picking out the green M&Ms, wasn't he? Like that's how nitpicky. Yeah, that's what he was doing. And I liked went to the polls, and it were 100% with 15 million votes for MJF and minus 88% for Moxley with 0. But little details like that, brilliant, funny, gold.
Yeah,
MJF's fantastic. We just after last week, this is all you sort of needed to push that, like the politician vibe, this little campaign office. So we can just do little bits like this leading up, to keep him getting physical, sort of thing. I really enjoyed this.
That was a good one. We saw Matthew.
He froze out on me there, Des. Don't know if the rest of the world can hear you. Yeah, so we had Matthew Hardy then, didn't we? Like say, it's Matthew Hardy giving a promo saying he wanted to be broken, he wanted to bring that, but now he wants to concentrate on himself. Started talking about the Sammy Guevara feud, how when he came back, he attacked him. So I give him one back, and that's how we got the win. So I was saying it was a bit like the Faces winning last week off the cheating, effectively. But when you have this promo here, it all made sense.
Matt Hardy cut it.
Right, I think we're both probably talking over top of each other because you're frozen out for me, Des. So I didn't know about it.
Okay, there. Okay, so look at this. Are we back? Is that what's going on now? Are we?
Yeah, you froze for me, so I thought I best talk. I have no dead air, but then when you cut back in, you're talking. So I'm like, well, am I frozen out? Is he frozen out?
No, okay.
Who knows? Let us know in the comments who the hell you were listening to then.
I sent you a message because I was like, yo, the internet company's been outside And I've been worried that something was gonna happen. The next thing you know, like bloop bloop, you went out first, and then I went out, and I'm like,
Right.
no, no,
Like I
oh
say,
no.
comments, let us know which one you can actually see if any of us.
Exactly, exactly. So we had Matt
Well,
Hardy
where
coming
were you?
in there. Matt Hardy talking about this fourth wall promo he was doing, talking about Sammy Guevara and this thing that they got going on, and I love this how this just turned in to Sammy and Matt Hardy facing off. Like Sammy's comes out from under the ring, and Matt Hardy's still talking, and he's just creeping up on him, and he's like, "I knew you'd come," and turns around, clobbers him. They start scrapping. This was so awesome, man. Sammy got to slam to that little tiny announce table. Matt setting up another table. And I love Taz's commentary through all this where he's like, hey, look, okay, yeah, so you're an old guy, you're the veteran, you gave some kid some advice. He didn't take it. That doesn't mean you gotta get pissed at a kid for not listening. I thought that was awesome. Okay, but then that chair shot, man, that toss. Holy fuck. What are you doing? As a professional, what are you doing, Sammy, man? You don't throw a chair like that at somebody, okay? Like you I don't know. I was really worried because when you see them just throw a chair and Matt checks immediately, he's just like, "Hey, something hit me
Yeah,
bad."
cut him hard way, didn't he? Cut him hard way.
Yeah.
Blood started pouring.
Oh God, man, that blood, man, like just pouring. Sammy hit that wicked. What was like a phoenix splash, like a
Like a
spin
450
450.
sort of. Like, yeah, he landed like on his. It was quite
It kind of landed on
impactful,
his
wasn't it?
side.
Because
Yeah,
he didn't
he
land on his
was.
chest. He like turned into a ball and became like a boulder and just smashed through
It
him.
was
It
almost
looked
like a
really impactful.
630 he was going for. Yeah, like it was something else. That was something else. I just
But it
had you
added
being
to it, didn't it? Like just it added to it though when Sammy were then covered in splashes of blood afterwards. It sort of
yeah,
added to it.
dude.
Like Paul Matt
Oh,
that
that
he had
was
to take that, but
gore. That
it
was
really added to it.
gore. Like, good God, that blood was gore. That was bad, man. That was to the point where you just about saw brains. Like that was really bad, dude. Like that was oof. That was
Yeah, we're
that
like
was
dusting it all out, all in.
yeah, blood
When
and
he
guts
got
now,
cut on the
man.
ring post, it was pouring.
Blood and guts. But it's awesome that this story's continuing. I think it's really great. These guys have a program going on, so I can't wait to see more of it for sure. And we saw Santana and Ortiz, and they're back outside, and they're at Sue's van. I wish they wouldn't use inside angles like this where they just, like he's got the hammer and they smash the window out, and all of a sudden you cut into the inside of the van that they have
For
this
this
fucking camera
impromptu
set
thing
up.
that they didn't know were going to happen. Yeah.
Exactly, right?
Yeah.
Or even if they did, like, you know what, like even if they had, here's how I could have done that. Here's what I would have done is show them beating up the van this week, right? And then, and then best friends come out and they, like, what the hell, right? And then next week, you could have Chuck Taylor's mom's dash cam footage of the attack. You know what I mean? Use it then. Don't just use it at the moment where it's like, oh, they're unprovokedly smashing this van that we had a camera inside of. It really took me out of the moment. I
So when
thought
they
it was
pulled in, do you know
hilarious.
when they first pulled in the van? Show an inside shot there, so the camera's just still there from when they pulled in.
Exactly.
You
Yeah.
know, then
Or
that's
like,
all you
or
got to
like
do.
have them
Because
doing like a blog, like a best friend's vlog, and have your camera in the back. You know what I mean? That
yeah,
kind of
something
shit.
like that. Yeah, because
You know?
we have a go at WWE when they do stupid stuff like that. So
Yeah, we always
got to
do.
be
There's
fair,
always
haven't we? We've got to be fair, haven't
Oh
we?
yeah,
So
there's so much WWE shit they do that's dumb that we think is dumb, and so of course when we see it here, it's like, guys, I thought we were above this, right? I thought we were above all this. Like they definitely have an issue with the crooked TV watching, where it's like, oh yeah, I'm watching TV with my neck broke here, like you know what I mean? Like ow. But I thought it was great how he spray painted Sue's name on the fucking hood of the van and crossed it out. That's hard as fuck. That's hard as fuck. And then tell your moms we said what's good. Oh jeez. Dude, they really took this. This is where I was watching this laughing my ass off the whole time because I was like, wow, guys, way to make me eat my words of where is this tag team feud going, right?
mm,
Like, way to make something of it and just be like, you know what? F you guys. And I hope they win. I hope that this isn't one of those things, like you said, where Santana and Ortiz have to take the lose or take the loss over the faces here. I hope this is one of those situations where the bad guys prevail, man, and we really start seeing these guys put themselves up there, especially if the rankings are supposed to mean a difference and stuff. And they keep talking about Cody being 17-1 and bullshit like this. Like, man, Santana or Ortiz need that win. Give them that win. Give them that win. Speaking of, we have the Dark Order again taking on Matt Cardona in his AEW debut, which was fucking great. And of course, what's his face there, the Triple H Jr. So we had John Silver and Alex Reynolds of the Dark Order coming together here. I like how they had the masks off at first, right? So they put them on for the match, and I really like the feel they have going on with that whole Dark Order thing. I like where this is going. It's definitely blooming into something cool. They called Matt Cardona the top free agent in pro wrestling. Hasn't he been home podcasting for like months since his release though? Like, I didn't know that everybody was banging on his door. You know what I mean? Like, I love Matt. I think he's great. He's in amazing shape. But to call him the top free agent, I'm like, I don't know if so many people were after him that you would call him that, right? Oh yeah, here we go. Liam with the Matt Cardona versus Cody internet title versus TNT title. I thought that would have been a great way to introduce Matt Cardona, would be to have him be an opponent for TNT Championship. And I bet you they had that meeting backstage where they said Matt would be a great opponent, a surprise opponent for this open challenge. And then Cody sits up and says, I have an even better idea because I like Matt so much. He's a friend of mine, and I want to give him the biggest rub I possibly can. And there is only one rub bigger than being beaten by Cody Rhodes, and that is teaming with Cody Rhodes. So I will let him team with me as I break the throne of pro wrestling. And Brandy becomes the biggest name in women's pro wrestling. It'll happen organically, like it is. And it's like, oh my God, Cody. Oh my God, Cody. But 17-1, man, is pretty damn amazing. I mean, how else when you book yourself to be the most over champion of all time with the most prestigious championship of all time, right? I mean, the match itself I thought it was great. I thought Matt was amazing. But I mean, to have his debut with Cody, what a rub, man. What a rub, dude. And what a feeling to be for John Silver. To be across the ring from Cody Rhodes. What a moment in John Silver's career, dude. This match is just becoming like Akira. It's becoming so big upon itself that it's gonna take over the whole world, this Cody Rhodes thing, man. I tell you.
Well, even the commentary mentioned like, oh, what a like almost putting over the fact they're definitely going to lose. But how good will this be for him to just be in the ring with, this god? And I thought, well, why fight him then anyway? Why fight him? If they're that crap, why fight him?
Sit on Mount Olympus. Have him sit on his cracked throne on Mount Olympus and let him watch over the whole AEW universe.
Well, this one. Go on.
Okay, no, sorry. Seriously though, Cody does deserve it. Every week, he earns it. Whether it be in a singles or a multi-man match, I think he does work hard. I give him shit because of his Triple H appearances and mannerisms right now and the way he's being booked, but he really is. I think it's awesome. I thought this match was great. I thought it was awesome, a fun time. Matt really looking like he hasn't missed a step and like he's really taking this opportunity and doing something with it, like as somebody who was so over in WWE for years, the internet title, wanting to just crash that glass ceiling and to finally be in a place where it might happen for him. I'm really happy. But I mean, I'm mostly happy that he got to debut with Cody for sure. How'd you feel about this match, dude?
Well, he came out to Pyro, and I personally don't think he's worthy of Pyro. Yeah, because like you say, that's but obviously he's with Cody, so you've got to get Pyro, and you can't have him come. Like you say, he's getting the rubbing everywhere. Yeah, but I missed all the Zack Ryder being over. It was just before I got back into it, so I don't think this was a good first match for him to wipe all that out. Because no offense to Silver and Reynolds, they are good, but the sort of they're nobodies, are they? Like, yeah, exactly. So is this FTR, the best way to? Is this the best way to introduce him? Like
Cody in an enhancement talent match. Yes.
Well, I suppose that's what they think, though, isn't it? That's what they genuinely think. Like, but I don't think this did Matt Cardona any favors, especially when Cody was in the ring 95% of the match, and then even at the end when Scorpio Sky comes out, and so in his own debut is the third most important thing. Because that gave that Cody and Scorpio Sky. So it's like, hang on, what is this to put over Matt Cardona? And you've really failed to do that. Because is he going to, if he don't come out with Cody next week, is he going to keep his Pyro? I'm worried about that. But so I just thought, especially even the commentators putting over, like when Silver nearly pinned Cody and Taz were like, oh, that'd be upset city, that'd be crazy again. Well, why are you even having the fight?
Yeah.
But the positives are that Reynolds and Silver won me over by the end. There were some really good sequences from them. And I like the fact that the Dark Order involved in, they've already had a 6-man tag, and then they've still got a match again later on. They're starting to feel like this big thing that's breathing all down on AEW from all angles. So I do like that. So that's the positives. But I don't think this did Matt Cardona any favours after his terrible booking he's had on WWE for a while. But I think they, in their heads, like you say, think, oh no, he stood next to Cody. Now he's a superstar. And that's it. And I think that's all it takes for him. And I don't think they did him any favours, really, at all.
Yeah.
And especially at the end when Scorpio Sky comes out, so the post-match is all about Cody. Let's not forget who the star is here. And I would love Scorpio Sky. After that epic promo on Dark, I would love him to beat Cody. Absolutely love him. And I think out of all the people he's fought, he's probably, maybe without even realising it, probably one of the best shouts for it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, man.
I'd love it.
Scorpio,
even if they want to have it back and forth between them, like he loses it and thing, I'd actually really like to see Scorpio Sky take that title.
Oh, God. Could you imagine Cody being a 2-time TNT champion?
Oh, yeah, it will. It'll only take about, 7 days, but yeah. But I would actually, right? I think Scorpio Sky is good. He's good.
He is very good, yes.
So, like a lot of these matches he's had, though, it's like, oh, Cody's got to put this person. I think Scorpio Sky, being one of the first tag team champions and having the win over Jericho and such, feels like actually it's not like Cody has to make him look good or all. It's like Scorpio Sky's, he can make himself look really, really, really good.
Oh man!
So in the case of can Cody keep up with him?
Yeah, well, that's exactly it, and that's what I think they got to do now is really establish. I would have even given Scorpio a match this week. You know what I mean? Just to give him a little bit more momentum into it, give him a real good dominating win over somebody here. I think that'd be really awesome. Because right now he's
what a nice story. He beat Matt Cardona. Cody comes out with Matt Cardona, oh, he's right here, and then Scorpio Sky was to beat him. And like I think Matt Cardona should have to earn his stripes. Like I say, he's been a nobody in WWE for a while, so you can't just come in. Oh, it's Cody's mate. Here's some pyro. He's legit. I don't think that's fair, especially when, like I say, in this match, like not against Silver and things. Silver's like he's only a small fella, isn't it? So Matt Cardona's coming in like, oh, I want my tag, I want to get in there, and then pushes over a little dude, and it's like, well, is this isn't making you look good, mate, at all. And then when he's like, it looks like a schoolyard bully almost, so I thought he just didn't do him any favours at all. So like, I think he should have to earn his stripes, and a good way to put over Scorpio Sky for it to beat him. And they could have had give him a good match, let him have a proper, 15-minute match, and then put them both over. But put Scorpio Sky over to push the fact that, I beat your mate now, I'm coming for you. And then let Matt build up slowly, because I don't know if he deserves to walk in as a legit threat, if you know what I mean. Not against him. I don't think he deserves that. And say, oh, he's free agent. What about Heath Slater? That's his job.
John Howell asking, I don't keep up with Dark enough. Are they breaking up SCU?
I don't think they're breaking up any faction. I think everyone can be a single star within a tag team, within a faction, within a trios, with whatever. I think that's the beauty of AEW. No one feels like you're either this or you're that. You can be a single star and a tag star and part of a faction, no problem. I think personally.
Yeah, no, exactly. And that's what they're definitely pushing is the fact that you don't want to have somebody pigeonholed as just a tag team. Well, I mean, look at Best Friends, I think is a really good idea of this. And when I think in my head, or even Santana and Ortiz, like I said before, I don't see them as singles wrestlers, I definitely see Kaz as a singles wrestler. I see Daniels as a singles wrestler. And I see Scorpio as a singles wrestler. So the fact that they took the three of them and made a faction, it's almost like when Sheamus and Cesaro tagged up initially. It was like, why are you taking these two good singles wrestlers and making a tag team out of them? But then after a while, you get so used to them being together that you forgot they were ever singles. And that's kind of what SCU is doing for me now. So I really like it.
And because there's three of them, like Kaz and Daniels can tag while Scorpio is doing singles work and such and vice versa. Yeah, exactly. There's talk. Keep talking for 2 seconds because this cat is kicking off and wants to go out. And so I'm going to go let her out.
Will do. All right, so here we go. We're talking more about here. We had from that segment on, we went on to Trent and Chuck are backstage with the van. And oh my God, were they steamed. They were pretty steamed about this one here. You do not touch my mom's van. He was very clear about this. And he was very clear that that Santana and Ortiz are going to have to apologize. They will be apologizing to his mom. They will be apologizing to his mom. And you'll be apologizing on speakerphone. Ooh, my notes are all ooh, because that speakerphone is legit, boy. If you're on speakerphone with somebody's mom, that's the fucking thing. You know you're in shit right there. Let me tell you. And then right here, then we had Sammy Guevara, the king of commercial break entrances, man. He comes out and he's got his cards with him. And did you get to see these cards? Did you see the picture in picture?
Well, like I said, normally when you watch fight, you get picture in picture. But As soon as he pulled his cards out, it cut off. So unless there's wrestling in the ring, they don't stick with it. So I missed all this. So I don't know what. I don't got a clue what it said.
So it said, the sign said, okay, this was because it was like, okay, they're not going there. They did. So it said, "Hey Orange, like Matt versus the Inner Circle, you're going to lose." And then he flips and he says, "Not only is the Demo God a master in the ring, he's a master on the mic." And I was like, oh, good. I really thought they were going to go do the, and then he's a master on the stage. He's a master entertainer. And I'm like, oh, God, no. And then he's a master debater. Okay, there it is. But it was funny because when he had that master debater up, he's like, oh, wait, no. And he just like shreds the shit out of it. And it was fucking hilarious. He's like, wait, that doesn't sound good at all. No. So then we had OC coming out for the big debate against Chris Jericho, which was really, because I have so many notes on this segment. Like, it literally, my notes on this segment go longer than the page that I write them on. That's how much I had to say about this. I thought it was great. I thought that it served its purpose of to keep this feud going, but even having Orange Cassidy address the fact, like, you challenged a guy who doesn't talk to a debate. You're here to make me look stupid. And I think it did the exact opposite. I think it looked stronger than ever. It started off with huge pyros, man. This was Super Wednesday Debate 2020, they called it. We had our guest moderator who came out to be Eric Bischoff, which was so rad. Eric Bischoff, he's on the other side of my title belt here. He signed my world championship. He presented me with the world heavyweight championship, just like he did. Oh my God, it was so beautiful. I've met him a couple times, once in New Orleans, once in New York City with the Wrestling Raconteur, Pete Hurley. We met him at WrestleCon just outside the Pisser. It was hilarious. It was really funny. Bischoff looked like he had a couple of drinks in him and he looked like he just wanted to go, but we were just like holding him up hard. It was fucking awesome. So now the rematch is next week, and if OC loses, he pays Chris Jericho $7,000 to replace the jacket that he ruined. Chris comes out so sharply dressed. Hager's carrying the ruined jacket, and it makes you wonder. It made me wonder if the jacket was always part of this plan, or if they just sort of ad-libbed it after the initial splash of like, oh man, my jacket. Like, but Chris has got such a history with making these inanimate objects over, that you got to think that the jacket was always a part of this master plan, that he's going to wear this really ornate white jacket. And I love how they even say, it gets even more oranger every week. How does this happen, right? I thought it was a great segment. Jericho just admitting straight up that he's a bully, I think is hilarious. I love how Jericho's talking about, he's giving real heat on OC, like just bashing his character, like this is exactly what people are saying about him online. A lot of things I've thought myself too. And then he says, critics, historians, experts. I think he's talking about just Jim Cornette in one person when he says people don't like OC. And then the what is it? Like, he says that OC, he's dressed so nicely, and OC has got this denim jacket on that smells like old salami, Draco Noir, and batteries. Batteries. Like, what the fuck, man? Like, just, oh, what the fuck, dude? I had so much fun with this. I just had so much fun with it. OC had his part here. They went in, obviously OC, it reminded me of Old School, that movie Old School, where Will Ferrell had that blackout moment, and he just, this moment of clarity, and he won this debate. OC destroyed his question about the impact on coastal communities, which is really important, actually. Let me take a soapbox here and say, up here in the Arctic, we have a lot of coastal communities as well. So rising sea levels are actually taking away and erosion are taking away the shorelines, and we're actually having to move in our communities inland. So it is actually a very serious topic. So to see that brought up was pretty nice. But man, and I love how he's like, Chris, you've done it all the things we can Google later. Like, OC really did, though. OC brought it. Orange Cassidy really brought this debate alive. And Eric even named him the winner of the debate. What did you think of this back and forth here? It was so good. The whole, I don't know. I can say too many good things about Chris all night long. But what did you think about it?
Well, when it was first announced, I wasn't 100% sure how it was going to work. Like, obviously I know how the debate works, but I wasn't sure how they were going to do it. I thought this was amazing. Like, genuinely amazing.
Yes, dude.
Chris Jericho was on fire as the straight man, like you say, the bullet. Every word that came out of his mouth were fantastic. And like you say, it played off Orange perfectly. like you're saying, him only actually getting involved when it came to the like dropping actually some facts about real world stuff. And I thought Bischoff were fantastic in this role.
Oh yeah,
he did really well. I liked the line at the end when he went, Bischoff, I've hated you for 22 years. He goes, it's 24 years and I feel the same. I popped so hard for that bit.
Yeah,
And
dude,
like,
yes, man, yes.
It was so good. And like, when it got to the point where, like, OC said, you've done this to try and embarrass me, haven't you? You've had a debate with someone you haven't talked, but how's it embarrassing is it going to be if you get beat by the guy who puts his hands in his pockets? And you can see Jericho's face drop a bit then, like a bit worried about that fact, you know.
Yeah.
Honest, everyone looked fantastic here. It's like I said, once out of work, it worked amazingly. And I imagine Chris Jericho had a lot to do with this, and it just even furthers more why he's the GOAT, if you ask me.
Yeah, no,
because I think everyone looks great coming out of this.
Yeah,
and like Bischoff, what a nice touch. It would, like I say, it was fantastic. And then they attacked him at the end, didn't they? When they put his, and then give him a nice Judas elbow, didn't they? So Judas effect elbow to finish it all. Like obviously he's lost the debate, but also he's worried about looking stupid now as well.
Yeah,
so great.
It was absolutely insane in that Jake Hager came in beating the shit out of Orange Cassidy, like beating the shit out of Orange Cassidy. He took those, like he punched him so hard, he just weekended Bernie's them, like he was just fucking like down, and then fucking holding him up. And I was just like in my notes, like, oh my god, holy fuck, like he blasted him with that Judas effect. When Chris hit that Judas effect, and OC went down, like Orange Cassidy looked like he was dead. He looked like
I thought he'd knocked him out. I thought he genuinely knocked him out.
That's what I mean. He looked like he just said, "Okay, boys, you're gonna knock me out after this because I need to go down after this. Like I want this to look really good." And it was the cherry on this beautiful cake sundae that also had ice cream and brownies in it. That's how fucking good this was to me. Like it was the main event. It made the show. This fucking segment. And I know I say this a lot about Chris Jericho, but good God, this man is just gold. Like. When we lose Chris Jericho, we will lose a fucking gem of the pro wrestling business. This man has such a mind for it. It's amazing. It's fucking scary, man. Like, this was crazy. Best Friends came out. They scared off Jericho and Hager. But, man, was the damage done. Man, I cannot wait for that match next week. That's going to be so good. Like, it's going to be... I hope they really just tear the whole fucking house down, man. And how often does this happen on Dynamite, though, where something so cool happens that it's just like, damn, Like, fuck, that's cool.
Well, why we love Dynamite so much in AEW is because it's often a lot about the wrestling itself, innit? But last week, one of my favourite things on the show was the MJF in-ring promo segment. And this week, this is one of my favourite things on the show. So I really like that. Like, starting to bring that into it, but actually gold, no wasting your time. It's like, if we're going to do something in-ring where we're talking, it's going to be special. This was just brilliant. Can't say enough good things about this and enough good things about Chris Jericho or Orange Cassidy.
It was so good. It was so well timed. Like I said this last week, like I watch 2 hours of Dynamite a week and we see maybe 15 minutes of talking, maybe. I watched 3 hours of Raw last week. I tried to, and I sat through that much talking in the first hour. You know what I mean? Like there was 3 matches that night on Raw and a 3-hour show. How are you doing this? You know what I mean? Like I don't understand it. I just had so much good time there. It was so fun. Britt Baker's back out again with her crew, and in big capital letters, here it is. Finally, we get it. We get it. She puts up Reba. She put Reba up against Swole, which caused, of course, Big Swole taking on Reba here. And Reba really, man, I loved this because I was worried for her because Reba looked like she did not know what the fuck she was doing at all. When she went up to the top and she's like up on the top rope, I'm like, what are you doing? Like, don't do that. And she went down to the second. I laughed for a fucking good minute. I had to pause and rewind it again to watch it because the way she sold that moonsault landing off the second rope, how she just looked like she knocked herself out, like she was just done. And then Swole hit that dirty dancing forearm shot, man. That, like, she was finished, man. Like, Reba was like, oh my gosh. How much longer do we have to wait for Britt Baker? Because this is, if this is going to be what I like it a lot. I like it a lot. If it's going to be Britt Baker just putting up people against Swole and Swole just demolishes them all until she finally gets Baker. This is so cool. It's like a last boss and all the thugs. You know what I mean? Like I think it's really cool.
I thought Reba was fantastic here. Like, really good character work. She was brilliant. She's more over than Swole after this for me. Like, I was actually more invested in the Reba side of things. Like, genuinely. You know what I mean? I wasn't thinking about Swole afterwards. I just thought Rebel was absolutely brilliant in this role. Like you say, she played that well. Tried to get in the ring, couldn't even climb. Yeah, go for it, man. Like I say, I thought she was fantastic. Great character work from her. Like, where I was almost disappointed, big Swole beat her. But like you say, that's the feud, her and Britt Baker. But yeah, I'm hoping to see more of Reba. I wouldn't mind if she just put her up every week, so at least she got back. Because obviously she's not gonna beat Big Swole. But it'd be nice to see more character work from her to get to the point, because she clearly does know what she's doing. So to make it look like you don't is actually really good work. So I love this. And Big Swole, like, I thought, well, since she's going to be a bit disappointed at the beginning of the match for Big Swole, because she come out and she's supposed to be like showing how dominant she is, and she just went for a rest hold and held her for a minute, and I thought, well, this is pointless. But then the way that Rebel were like running around, like, what do I do now? And like every time she hits something, she's going, Britt, you see that? Did you see that? And like went to try high five her, even though she stood at middle of the ring, and then, oh yeah, I better go do this. I loved that. I thought it was fantastic. And like I say, she went up to the top rope and went, oh no, this is a bit high. Dropped down to the middle one, and then what a beautiful best moonsault ever. You know what I mean? Yeah. Took it like a champ. Boom. Well, like I say, Big Swole dropped her like she was hot. Boom. So I like it was fun. It was fun. We say sometimes we see a bit too much of a bit, but this is what we've been waiting for, to actually know. Let's get some physicality going off the back of it. So yeah, I really enjoyed this segment. Short but sweet. Did what it needed to do.
Yeah, exactly.
Woof, woof, woof.
Yeah, I know. I got the cable guys outside now, so this dog is gonna go crazy here. Just one
second. The animals. Muted, shouting at poor Jacob. We love that dog.
Okay, I'm going to go address this for a second here, so I'll be right back. Give me 1 second here, Dean. Give us a preview of what you're doing here with what's going on in the Dean story here while I cut for time here. 1 second.
What do you mean, the Dean story? Well, Mike, I don't know. Should we just talk about the last match to myself?
Yeah, exactly. There you go. Give us another recap here. 1 second, brother. Oh, man. Okay, this is awful, man. This dog is going fucking bonkers out here. Just give me a second here, and I'll be right back.
Okay. So the last match, Jon Moxley versus Darby Allin, which I really enjoyed this. Obviously, I don't think ever that Darby Allin was going to win, but it's more about putting his grit over. He doesn't need to win this sort of stuff. So I liked how he was a bit defiant, like the start where he just slapped Jon Moxley straight across the face. I really liked that, and I liked how Jon Moxley just dropped him like a sack of shit.
Oh, God, you know, so I have in mind too,
Darby Allin was selling great for him like that, because again, the next thing that Darby Allin did was try to slap him again, a bit like like Moxley were on about in his promo. The kid's a bit off his head, like he used to be, and he's not going to listen. He's like, I'm here, I'm right in front of you. Be disrespectful, slap me across the face. What you got? And I like how Jon Moxley were really physical, just dropping him hard. I really liked this match, and I liked the when Wardlow came out, because like you say, the MJF match is happening. So it was nice that MJF would try to get involved and lose him the belt effectively, because he'd rather fight the 125-pound emo kid. So I liked that, and it didn't come into the thing. Did we have, how many coffin drops did we have in this? Did he hit a coffin drop, then go for another coffin drop, and then
he hit
the second one?
He went back to the well, yeah,
because he hit one, but then Mox kicked out and he caught him in the choke, didn't he? The second one,
yeah,
and then Darby, he took a pile driver, kicked out of that, which made Darby look great, again. So again, Darby don't need to win, and to put up a defiant performance against the champion does it. You know, it just puts his stock up. And Mox, it wasn't too hard for Mox, but again, like I was on about Shida last week, it shouldn't be hard for Mox. He's a dominant champion. And it shouldn't be like Cody. He'll put even the most average wrestler over as if he's had the toughest fight of his life.
Yeah.
But you know that they're not doing that with Moxley. They're getting it right. Like it shouldn't be too. It should be able to beat Darby Allin easy.
Exactly.
When, like I say, but it left that there were a lot on the table. You know, like they can still have a series of matches over years. These two just getting crazier and crazier. You know, and then eventually, like a big, massive, hardcore match should be the equalizer for Darby. So I thought this was great. I enjoyed all this, and like I say, I love Mox now. In WWE, to take or leave him. I mean, I popped when he took when he cashed in and took the belt off Roman and Seth and that.
Yeah.
I kept up for that, of course I did. But, not after that long, I didn't. I'm like, yeah, he's not a good champion for me. But in Jon Moxley in AEW is like someone that he's got massive presence. And I really like what they're doing with him.
Yep.
Really like what they're doing with him. Well, probably more
absolutely.
what he's doing with himself, and I think that's the key.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
Yeah,
he's definitely got more going on with himself. I think there's more direction. They talk about that. Even Matt Hardy talked about it earlier in the show. I think it's awesome. It really comes out. But yeah, I think I had a lot of fun with this match. I think we already knew who was going to win. Darby Allin with that near fall right after that code red. It made me think of Mountain Dew. Made me want to pop. They talked about Darby Allin being 27 years old. That is way older than I thought Darby Allin was, man. I thought Darby Allin was like 21, and he's got this whole little skater thing going on. But 27 is a little bit older than I thought he was. And then even Taz with his awesome line here in the match. Mox is being too nice with Darby Allin. I wish he was this nice with Brian Cage. Because you could tell he was cutting him some breaks here. Moxley was definitely cutting Darby Allin some breaks here in this match. And like you said, Wardlow came in, distracted the referee, blasted Moxley with the title. And then he hit that coffin drop. Super late, beautiful kick out there by Moxley. Oh my God. That looked like it could have been it. What a story that would have been, right? What a thing that would have been there if he'd won the title from that. And and then I love, so after MJF blasts Moxley with the title, I love Taz again on the commentary. Go ahead, Darby, you lucky bastard, pin him. Right? Just go ahead, you lucky bastard. This is exactly how the man who just represented the loser of a title challenge should be talking.
Yeah, like bitter. Cool. It was bitter, wasn't he? He played it really well, did Taz? Played it really well.
Did.
Yeah, he did.
He did. Another coffin drop attempt into the sleeper, locked right in. I thought that was going to be it. He looked like he was locked in tight, but he got out of it and he hit that blasted pile driver and he kicked out of that again. And I think that was really cool. That was that moment where we've seen it happen before. I think it was Undertaker, Jeff Hardy. There's been these other big moments, these big matches like this, where you get the little guy gets a rub from the bigger guy. I think Razor Ramon, 1-2-3 Kid, another example. Fucking Mox is looking like, okay, this kid kicked out. That's a lot of heart, but he's not winning this match. I got to put him down here. Biggest paradigm shift of all time. It was like what they talked about when Jungle Boy or Marco was getting wrestled by Wardlow, and it was like wrestling your nephew or something. Like, this looked like you just put a kid up in the air. And I've never seen anybody take a paradigm shift, a double arm DDT like this. Nobody takes a double arm DDT like a float over because nobody can, right? It was just huge DDT. And then blast him down. But what a battle, man. What a battle. And then right away to give him the words of respect there, and be talking to him. That's how it's done. Respect, man. So much respect for the way they did that match. What a fucking match to end a great show. Between the title match, that debate, the fucking 6-man, the 12-man that started off here, Matt Hardy getting busted open the hard way from Sammy G, from the Mama's Van, the Dark Order, all of it today. I got to give this one a 5 out of 5. I think there was no stumbles for me as far as Dynamite went this week. So that is it. That's as far as I go. This is tops for me right here. August 5th Dynamite. Congratulations, you got my 5 stars. What do you think about
I can't say that because of the Matt Cardona thing. I thought that was a really limp and pathetic debut. Wow. I can't give it that. I genuinely think that was the weakest bit on the show because it did Matt Cardona no favours whatsoever, if you ask me. So apart from that, I thought everything else was fantastic. I thought really fantastic. And like I say, that match wasn't bad itself. Silver and Reynolds really turned around on them, especially by the end. But yeah, I don't think it was a good debut for Matt Cardona, especially with the Scorpio Sky thing at the end, would rendered him completely mute in his own debut because it's all about Cody. But that's what's funny about like Moxley doing it right, doing the same, like showing respect afterwards that Cody tries to do every week, but it didn't feel forced with Moxley. It felt more natural and right.
Yeah, it felt right.
And it's so
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So not quite 5 out of 5 for me. But
damn, Cody, you're fucking ruining 5-star shows here, Cody.
Don't tell him. He loves it. But yeah, so I thought, but again, really, really good show. Like I said, nice opening, straight into the action. I enjoyed it. I did.
I'm glad the one thing we didn't have to suffer through this week was the Brandy Rhodes Alley story there, the Nightmare Sisters and their conquest over the tag team division that they've created so they could conquest it. I'm glad we didn't get put through that. So that was at least the one solid thing here. So I will leave that show on that note, just to put Brandy down the tanker here one last time on Triple D.
The savior of women's wrestling, Brandy
Exactly.
Rose.
I am Dezzie Cheese. That is Dean right over there. Thank you guys so much for being on the show. I wanted to use my whole legal last name on the program this week, just so people know, Dezzie Cheese. That's why we call myself Dezzie. So you guys have a great week. From us here, thank you so much for being a part of it. Thank you for spending your time with us, and we'll see you guys next week.
Much love.